So we used to go out on tours, especially to jungles and picnic spots, and I used to take a lot of photographs because we had a studio. My father was a very good photographer. So he told me that learning photography up to this point is all right. Why don't you just learn it properly? I mean, photography as photography. So he told me the way. He said there is a film institute. You better go there. One of my relatives have done a course from there. So moment I heard that, so my interest in MSc started fading out, and I sort of journeyed to FTI. Fortunately, got through the interview and got into it. But before that, right from my school days, I got interested in this thriller reading. There used to be a monthly called Jasusi Dunia, written by a famous Pakistani writer, Ibn Safi. I mean, I think everyone in North India has been brought on Ibn Safi. Great writing, great thriller. While reading it, used to take us in certain visuals, which never left you till today. These visuals are stuck, these characters are stuck. This Colonel Vinod, Rajesh, Hamid, all these characters are stuck in my mind, and somehow I think it got percolated in CID, R, ACP and all that, are all those characters which I read in my childhood. And when I entered FTI, this reading continued, but by the time now it has shifted to Hemingway and Steinbeck, and I sort of started understanding what human relations are and what kind of situations people get into. And by second year, I also realized that I've got into a wrong course. I should have applied for direction. So whatever stories and all that, like Hitchcock and all that stories I was reading, I tried to, palm it off to my direction friends, direction course friends. So why not make your diploma film on these kind of stories? But I think in FTI there is a general tendency to look down upon these kind of stories. This kind of because they are Godard and Bresson rule till today. It's a different kind of atmosphere. I mean, so that's it. It's not deriding that kind of cinema. It's just that kind of atmosphere was there. So I thought that if somebody else makes this kind of story, I would learn something from it. But I never got a chance of doing that. And then from FTI, I came here. Of course, financially the situation was very bad, and that somehow made me to join Doordarshan. I became a news cameraman, and we used to shoot news on film, and that opened another world for me besides whatever I intended to do. This world was of poverty, rich, hotels, restaurant, outdoors, locations in India. I did everything. And during that, because we used to shoot a lot of handhelds and all that, I also learned the power of camera in this way. Whatever I had learned in FTI, that I think the real training started when I was there, and the advantage was that the camera became part of you, which happens very rarely, because you started thinking in terms of visuals, and camera was part of body. You just command and the camera used to behave. I employed those camera movements, those shots and all that. I still, till today, I use them in my thriller making. That was also first time we started watching TV, and there were a lot of imported programs being shown. And one of them was this, the famous program Old Fox, which till today people try to remake or copy. That program at that time, I think it was about 50-year-old program now, but it had a language. It had a language which I think has stood the test of time till today. It had a definite language of telling certain scenes, telling stories in certain ways, and it had very crazy camera movements. So that we started learning slowly that how a particular scene get transformed into visuals and get transformed through spatial dialogues through these 3-4 guys who were acting in that. And the camera was not shy. I mean to say that it was trying to break all kinds of language, whatever we had learned so far. There had to be mid-shot, there got to be close-ups, there got to be long shots. If you are shooting particular kind of thing, the camera would just move away from actor, go somewhere, come back, and it's all happening during one scene, during the dialogues and all that. It was fascinating. I think unconsciously I sort of imbibed that, and I'm using those camera movements, my training in news coverages. So all those got combined with my training in FTI as cameraman. And I evolved a different kind of language. And over the period I have also, because I'm basically a cameraman, and then I become director and writer, I'm sort of gifted in a way that I'm thankful to God that moment I read something, it automatically gets transformed into visuals. I don't have to sort of struggle to find that how this scene will look, how this scene should be shot or something. So it just starts flowing in my mind. Okay, while watching those programs, I thought, why not? Because I was covering crime also and all that, I thought, why not make this kind of serial on Doordarshan? So that's easier said than done, because Doordarshan has its own policy, and at that time it was very, very conservative. So I sort of suggested, then they said, why not meet the police commissioner? So that was around 75. I met the police commissioner. He was also fascinated. Fortunately, city had a very forward-looking commissioner. Mr. Tankiwala, I believe I met. He said, of course, why not? So he introduced me to crime branch, and I started spending my lot of time in crime branch. I met all these famous detectives, Wakatkar, Pense, Sahasrabudhe, Wagle, and it was amazing. It was another world. I used to watch them, how they are sort of interrogating, how they are going through a case and all that. So again, this camera plus reading plus this actual watching and listening to these guys, it get transformed into a solid idea that okay, this we can actually make this kind of serial for Doordarshan. At the time, nobody had heard of this kind of thing can be done. There was no system at that time to show a regular serial, because there were regular programs, nothing else. So it just got hidden somewhere, and it took many years for it to get to come up. But then in about 83, 84, Mr. Tatari heard this idea and he said, why not make it? I said, ठीक है. But before, one very interesting thing had happened when the mind and heart was saying, okay, make this kind of program, write these stories, get it done. I had the stories, I had the ideas, I had the visuals, but I didn't know how to write. Everything was there. Somebody said, okay, do it tomorrow. I didn't realize at that time if I had got the permission, how would I have made it? Because I didn't know how to write. And I didn't know anybody else who could write that. Because then again we had to go through the whole process. I would have to take the writer to crime branch and then listen to it and then come back and write in certain way. Top of that, I also did not know how to converse with a writer. Our limited knowledge in FTI was meeting screenplay writing students, and we have never spoken to the teacher who was teaching the screenplay, because somehow in film institute at that time nobody ever taught the students the value of writing. So when actually I sat down to write first script, I realized that I just cannot write a single word. I had the ideas, I knew how the story will flow, but that thing was not coming out of the pen. So I went to Anil Tejani's house. Anil Tejani is 1 year was junior to me in FTI, but we were great friends, and he was a brilliant student. That whole batch was brilliant. Janu, Anil, and I think there were 15 students. They were calling themselves Cine Pendre. So Anil was one of those Pendres, So I went to his house at Pedder Road. I told him, Anil, I have to make this program, but you teach me how to write. So he heard the story. He said, you have to write yourself. I'll give you a place. You sit down here, and I will tell you how to write, and you write yourself. He helped me. So he told me, this could be your first scene. Till that point, I had this much knowledge that whether this scene is good or not good, whether this scene is required or not. So I could at least argue with him at this point. Beyond this, I had no knowledge. That we had heard about scenes, shots, we have been taking for years. But when you are writing, how do you transform your ideas into scenes, lines, shots? And it's the most difficult thing in the world. So that was my first experience. And even then it took me months, I used to go to his house whenever I had time I could find time from my regular job. And then somehow it got fizzled out, and I stopped going. And he also got busy in some, because he was already doing feature films. He was just trying to help me. So in 83, 84, Mr. Tadari said, okay, let's make a film on that, because I had narrated in the story. So I said, I tried to find out that story and all that. I realized it may still be with the Anil. So I phoned him, I went to his house and I said, Anil, by chance have you kept something? So he's a very meticulous person. He took out the file and he gave it to me. There were some papers on that, whatever, and I realized that this is what we had written. And then again it was not enough, but the assignment was there, the base was there, the script was not complete. So I sat for 5-6 days, and I don't know how I managed to write the script, and that was my first film, Sirf Char Din. It was based on a real case. A headless body, a head was found in Raj Bhavan, and it was a big sensation at the time that how could a head be found in Raj Bhavan? So cops thought somebody in Raj Bhavan has murdered somebody in Raj Bhavan. So it was a fit case to make the first film. In spite of Anil helping me, in spite of Anil telling me, in spite of I having the story, in spite of spending so much time with the story, so much time with the idea, I found the first word will not just come out of the pen, it just refuses to come out of the pen, you know. You spend hours doodling and thoughts are, you know, crossing your mind, but they refuse to come out of your pen. That's why I realized that writing is the most difficult thing in the world. Person who could write is, I said, is a gifted guy. Even if person could write 7-8 lines, I would sort of keep him above all our other professions. Because somebody who could think of an idea, somebody who could have an original thought, and somebody who could transfer that thought on paper is a guy who should be respected. Not the director or cameraman who can transform that thought into visuals. Of course, they are important, but the basic thought, if somebody can write and can provide you regularly, constantly original thoughts, he is the guy who is the key to the whole system.
How did you become a writer?
Continuing from my first film, How I Made It, then I made a Marathi serial called Ek Shunya Shunya. There again I had actual police cases. I had whole police force behind me, helping me to make it. And first case was I had taken a story by Mr. Srikant Sinkar, and I had chosen the story first, and then later on I went to his house, and that after making the pilot, because this was constantly pinching me that I must meet this guy, and Sinkar was a very, very big name at that time. So I went to his house and I told him, sir, I am going to use one of your story. In fact, I have already used it. So he looked at me, he says, thank God that you at least came to me, because people don't do that. People just flick the story and never pay for it. So I asked him, what kind of payment you would expect? Well, I was thinking if he asked me too much money, that will be the budget of my pilot. But he asked me a small amount, and I paid him. I carried checkbook. I gave him the check. He was in tears actually. Such a great guy, but he could not believe some guy is coming to his house and telling him that we have used your story and we want to pay. In fact, as the meeting got over, he offered me his whole collection. He says, take it. But I didn't have money to take all the stories, because he had written hundreds of stories. And besides whatever I had read till that time, once I started reading Srikant Sinkar, it transformed my life completely, because I had realized I am going to make thrillers only now. But storytelling, Sinkar's style is very, very original and it's remarkable. He also had spent his time in crime branch. He had written about inspectors' lives, cases. But the way he unfolds a story, it's original. It's purely Indian, I would say. I mean, I don't think so he has copied it from anywhere. I have read a lot of Hindi pulp and all that. And later on we started reading a lot of this pulp in English and all that. I realized that all have been, these ideas and stories have been stolen by writers. Most of the pulp writing in Hindi is sort of chori and translation only. But this guy is original. And more and more, I got involved in his writing. More I started reading his stories, and more I got, admired in his style of telling. And that is still seen in my storytelling. And because I just give you an example, it will start here. So that automatically transforms into your visual. He says, a cigarette is taken out of a packet. Time is 11:30. At 11:31 the match is lit and the cigarette is lit. So you can immediately say, this is my closer. This is my mid shot. Then you say, crime branch में इंस्पेक्टर सूर्या ने अपना ड्रॉर बंद किया, पैकेट रख दिया. So you know this is your mid shot. You see, the way he used to write to you, it tells you the visuals. And then he would say at 11:45 the jeep started from Crawford Market. It was heading towards Haji Ali. And then while describing the path, the passage, he would unfold a few lines of the story, where they are heading. Again he would hide. Then again he would talk about inspectors, his life, what has happened, what happened at 9:30, what happened at 8:30, how did he get up, how did he reach. This flash forward, flashbacks. That was, I think, I would say, the real training in writing. Still, it was not proper training in screenplay writing, but at least it set me on a path to understand writing and how to translate it into visuals and how to start talking in terms of visual, in terms of emotions, in terms of how we, converted certain scenes which would say not possible to be shown on screen, to make them palatable, make them turn into tears or laughter or something. So that whole in crime writing, even that can be done. This I learned from his writing. And that is what I see today also. When I get a story, I start to read a story and I see whether those elements are there in the story or not. I have a sort of call a mapdand in which I have tried to fit the story. I mean, that I evolved myself. I mean, it's just my way of looking at the story. So if the story fits into that, something in back of my mind tells me that it will do well. And sometimes I realize the writer has written certain things which he is not aware that he has written a fantastic thing, but he has not exploited it. That I can see. So I help the writer I point out that this was the key which you have missed. So why don't we exploit it? So that's how this give and take, it goes on. Another thing I realized on the way when we started doing stories on a regular basis, like we are on air, we are a few lucky guys who are on air since last 17 years, continuously. So we shoot every day. Every day we write, every day we have production meetings, every day we have production problems, every day we have writing problems. There are days when we have nothing to shoot, but shoot has to take place. So in that emergency period, something has to be written, something has to be sent. So this discipline I maintain. I write for about 5-6 hours every day since so many years. And that has all those mistakes I have committed in this writing has taught me many things. Writing in such a way, sometimes I had to rewrite everything, sometimes I had to write fresh scenes, fresh dialogues. Sometimes you find scenes not working, but scene has to be written in about half an hour, 1 hour, and has to be sent. It's a very amazing process. Wherever I am, even if I was in America or where I'm shooting in Switzerland or something, I write from there and send it, even with time difference. So once I was in Paris, so shoot for a 9 o'clock shoot here, I had to get up 4 o'clock and write there, but I did that and sent it. because it's art production, so I can't run away from it. But this whole process of the writing every day, reading stories every day, dividing it into scenes, then scenes into dialogues, this is an amazing process. And when you get a good scene, I mean, you feel very happy, okay, that the day is made. And at the time when I'm surrounded by 7-8 writers, so I feel running to those writers and tell this is what I discovered today. So why not, let's share it. So I come to the office and we all share it. That this is what we have written today. So it's really good because on the way I realized that nobody should discard an idea. I realized the value of idea because we need ideas every day. So a few years back you could have said, no, I don't like it at all. But today I tell all the writers that please don't be ashamed of your ideas. Every idea is gold because ideas are not easy to produce. कुछ भी आइडिया आया कि मैं सड़क पे आ रहा था, मुझे कुछ 2 रुपए का नोट दिखा, मैंने उसे उठाया, अचानक लाइटनिंग चमकी, ये हो गया वो हो गया. कोई बोलेगा यार ये तो बहुत बार सुना है, नोट रोड पे गिरा, किसी ने फंसाया, किसी ने किया, भगवान ने फेंका, सुना है. ऐसे सुना है, करेक्ट है, बट रोड पे नोट गिरा है, कोई इसको उठाने वाला है, उठाने के बाद क्या होगा ये अभी भी फैंटास्टिक है. ये तो हमारे हाथ में, इस पे तो हम कुछ कर सकते हैं. सो इसी आइडिया को गोल्ड बना सकते हैं. ये से व्हाई नॉट. सो लेट्स कीप इट असाइड. डोंट एवर डिस्कार्ड एन आइडिया. An idea is to be taken. We know the process, what can be done with this. So let's sit together and make a story out of it. That's how we make, every day we create a story. We get an idea, we know we are making supernatural or we are making a thriller, we are making a detective story. We know these elements will come in here. These elements will come in at this point, this will come at this point. Beyond that, then it becomes a bit of sort of juggling in scenes. But to inspire everybody, to inspire all the writers that this idea is great, this is great, that's my job. And for that, it took me many years to understand the idea, understand the script. I don't say that all the writers are bad, all the writers are great, all the writers are good. I see them in a way that some writers have evolved. Some writers are progressive. Some writers are still saying, हमने कुछ नहीं किया अभी तक. We have still a long way to go. Some people who have come to a point, he says, we know everything, whatever we are writing is the final, take it or leave it. That stage, I think, is not good for good writing. Because writer's journey is continuous. And unless I am suffering from this insecurity, that I must, I must learn something, I must get good ideas, I must get fantastic ideas. How come he is getting ideas? How come I am not getting? How come I didn't get this idea? So that anxiety, that insecurity will force me to, invent new things. So while not discarding some writer's idea, I inspire them to, go for newer heights. I have also come across writers who have written scripts, but they don't understand their own script. If they don't understand their own script, how can they expect others will understand? Everybody knows in this field, our field, that understanding script is another very difficult thing. If I reading script and saying this is good or bad requires years of experience. That's why you might have come across most of the people say, you narrate me the story. Because some people cannot understand the script. Understanding a script on 80 scenes, going through 80, 90 scenes, 50-page script is a hell of a job. People just fall asleep after reading 6-7 scenes. You know, you start yawning, you say, यार क्या करे, समझ में नहीं आ रहा, क्या करे, क्या लिखा है. आइडियाज अच्छे हैं, सीन्स अच्छे हैं, बट लैंग्वेज यूज़ करिए वही समझ में नहीं आ रही कि ये कैसे करें. सो इतना सब जो प्रोसेस है कि अच्छा थॉट, देन थॉट के बाद उसमें उसका एक अच्छा स्टोरी आई उसके ऊपर, देन स्टोरी divided in such a way that it is a compelling reading. If it is a compelling reading, it's bound to become fantastic visuals. Then it's up to the director. But well-written script, no director can spoil it also. And most of the successful directors are people who write themselves or who have company of fantastic writers who they are in equation with and who understand each other well. No director has come up, I think, without a good story. No film has ever been made or something. Or no, I'm not a film person, so I'm mostly a TV guy. So I can say that good writing is never flopped. And coming back to reading the script. So over the years, that I forced myself to just read, to understand what the whole script is about, what kind of movement is taking place through the script, how it is flowing. And because we write every day and all that, so I have come to certain definite conclusions that if I write, if I get people write for our kind of program, first scene has to be this, second scene has to be like this. After the story has gone through 4-5 scenes, then this has to take place. The body of the story has to have this kind of things. And then when you are entering into climax scenes, then story should flow like this. If I find that scenes are not fitting into this, I am pretty sure at that time that is going to be trouble. So we sort of try to point out to each other, and since we are producing, like in CID we are producing 8 1-hour stories a month. It's huge amount of writing. I mean, writers are just writing 24 hours. We have 8-9 people working with us. So to expect them that write a story, fantastic story, which is having 23 scenes, deliver, go to the next story, again go through the same process, and then expect the writer to come up with perfect scenes, perfect planning, perfect flow, is, I think, demanding too much from it. So we try to, make them as comfortable as possible. Criticism is a least part of the process. We got to pinpoint the mistakes and all that, but I cannot do that by taking myself away from the process. I had to be part of the chain. Then only I feel I have right to say all this. So I am a part of the process. The story comes. The story is supervised by the creative. She is a writer herself. She has written about 400 independent stories. So that's great writing. So she supervises the story. Once it comes in a proper form, it comes to me. I see the pitfalls and I see the progress, and then I again juggle up and add certain things in. Then I realize now it's perfect thriller. It goes back, the writer writes it again. By the time he finishes, it goes into production. At that stage, again we do some correction. Then it goes to the dialogue writer. He is also called in production meeting. He also is made to understand this is the story. And of course, we are aware that dialogue writing is another department, especially in Indian television and all that, which still is, I think, far behind what it should be. We are still, I think, just amateurs in that, because there is no school which is teaching dialogue writing. We expect dialogue writers brilliant dialogue writers to just emerge from somewhere and give you fantastic writing. That this is happening in, as far as I think songs are concerned. There you have started getting people who are giving you fantastic lyrics, but it's not happening in I think in films and in television. So that's where we must concentrate and do something about it. We need a fantastic dialogue writer, but eventually it's the dialogues which are telling your stories. So we have to. So that's a huge struggle which I face every day. We get these dialogues and correct it, because I find there are very few dialogue writers who understand the flow of a scene, which is very important. This I try to teach every day. That scene has to start somewhere. Scene has to reach somewhere in between, and then scene has to sort of climax. And then at that climax, it goes into the next scene. The next scene is, when this scene has reached there, it means the next scene also will start from somewhere. It cannot start from with a different sort of, I would say, different culture. They have to match scene. Then only the story will flow. Most of the dialogue writers are not aware of this flow at all. They don't want to understand it also, because they are depending on their knowledge of the words, which they think is the only thing which can take them forward. So sometimes you see dialogue is good, but it is not fitting in the scene. It's useless for that scene. So what's the point of using one or two words which are sounding good, but it's of no use for a dialogue. I am also afraid at that time that everything should not be turned into my kind of thoughts, because then there are certain scenes in the screenplay which require a young kind of thinking of a young person, or thinking of a modern person, thinking from a young girl's point of view or from a young boy's point of view. If I put my kind of dialogue in that situation, it might spoil the scene. So we we have young writers with us who are talking in the language of Aajkal the times, but they are not trained in the language. They are unable to understand the flow of the scene. That's the struggle I go every day. That's why it takes about 5-6 hours and all that every day to rewrite. For example, Rajat has a flair of storytelling. It just comes out of his heart. When he tells a story, he tells a story, and that he utilizes in his dialogues also, because his dialogues are not sort of you don't see them that they are impeding the storytelling. They are part of the flow. That's where you start enjoying the story, the flow of the story, and the nuances in the dialogues and all that. That's what it should be. And I think he reached his peak in Dirty Picture. I mean, I saw it in the theatre, and even the girls were clapping. Very rarely you see that happy.
So you don't necessarily have three different people writing the story, screenplay and dialogues in your projects.
No, the dialogue writer is different. And because they are under pressure, the people who are writing story and screenplay. But if they can write, if some of them say we would like to write, so we ask them, okay, go ahead and do it.
What do you look for in a writer?
It's whenever a writer calls me or sends me a message, I call them to office immediately. I don't say I don't have time for it, though I am hard pressed for time. But I try to meet all the writers. So when they meet me, first thing I look into them whether they are still hungry, are they into reading or not. Because I feel person who is reading today, the writer doesn't have to go to a library or need not have huge library in his house or her house to read every day. There got to be hunger, everything is there on the net or something. We buy books in hundreds till today, but I keep on distributing it to writers because what we cannot write ourselves, we can at least read. I mean, I understand the situations, the feeling, emotions. So unless somebody is reading constantly, unless somebody is evolving constantly, there would be a point where you are static. Yeah. So we look that in a writer, because younger people only will have to take this load forward. So we try to, but another problem with younger people, they are not experienced. Writing requires experience. So you require a mix of hunger and experience, right? Then we see, okay, and the person should be ready to slog. Here people get tired very easily. They write the first draft and say, okay, sir, if you ask them to bring next draft, I think he will come after 15 days. Or he may not come. Or sometimes we realize that this writer is neither reading nor evolving. He might have written one or two successful serials or something, but the growth has sort of stopped. So that's another thing. Thirdly, the commitment that if it has to be delivered tomorrow at 10 o'clock, it should be delivered at 10 o'clock. So that's very important for us. And I tell about Sridhar, I will tell you, because when we started writing together, Sridhar wrote about 400 stories for us, both Ahat and CID, and both require a different kind of thinking. One is supernatural, there is less logic in that, and the other is CID where it is highly logical, nothing can be written without thinking repercussions, what is going to happen later on. We shot for about 6-7 years together continuously. Then later on, because then he got busy in films and all that, but he still tried to help as much as possible. He was still writing. He knew that we would collapse because then Rajat helped us for a long time, and Rajat was with us for about, I think, 12 years. He was writing that, dialogues, screenplays, various. And even when he started writing films, he would still drop in and he would still help whenever possible. So that shows the greatness of people. Nice human beings, great writers, great thinkers. I learned so much from Sridhar and Sriram and Rajat, because I am also hungry for ideas. They are also hungry, so we exchange ideas from here, like this. I think in this industry, A writer, first of all, had to be punctual in terms of delivery. Coming back to Sridhar's writing initially, he had, when I had used to phone him a day before, I said, Sridhar, kal shoot hai. Though I was shooting myself, because I was shooting both art and CID, and I had no time even to come for a production meet. So the production meet used to take place on the set, when I used to leave the shot and come and attend, and Sridhar would narrate the story there, take the feedback, story would come, I'll give my feedback. And we confidently used to plan shoot for next day. We knew that we can plan the shoot for 9 o'clock morning. Everything had taken place. Production meeting is on his narration, but still there was no script with us. And we have never shot anything without a script, without a fully written script. And in the morning, Sridhar would deliver the script. I don't know what magic he had, when he had time away from his meetings, drinking, smoking, everything, he would still deliver the script. He has never ever faltered. Never ever. In between this, he would come for channel meetings also. In channel meetings, he had to narrate 10 to 12 story ideas, sometimes 10 to 12 screenplays, besides this regular writing. Can you imagine? He has never failed in that. Never failed his narration also. He would, just mesmerize people by his narration. Even we would just hear it, sometimes, because we were aware of most of the stories, but sometimes in narration, he would come up with ideas. Even I was amazed, Sridhar, yaar, वो story ऐसे घुमा दी. बोला हाँ सर, वो अचानक कुछ idea आया and all that. So that's the sign. That's why they are progressing so well today, because they are conscientious people, conscientious writers. They understand value of delivering product at right time. Punctual. That's very important. एक ऐसा मुकाम आया कि that we need to create something drastic in our journey, further journey in CID. We need to have some huge milestones. So this is what crossed my mind, that I must do something. We should do something which is in our control also. So this was the thing, that because since I am a cameraman, I can think in terms of visual. We had support of great writers, great team, and we have great team of artists who we are very confident they can do anything. So we said we can have something which can be done in a single shot. So I said, तो single shot फिर कितना? ऐसे ठीक है, चलो 1 hour करेंगे. So 1 hour का ऐसे कुछ सोचा कि 1 hour करेंगे, ठीक है, सोचा था उसे. On the way I met सौरभ शुक्ला one day morning walk में. सौरभ को मैंने बोला, यार ऐसे ऐसे कुछ कर रहे हैं. सौरभ सर ये क्या बात कर रहे हो, तो ऑलरेडी हो गया है. तो कितना हो गया? बोला 80 minutes तो हो गया. I can give you DVD. He said, क्या है वो? He said वो रशिया में कुछ म्यूजियम के आसपास कुछ शूट हुआ है. वो स्टोरी नहीं था, ऐसी था, बट बोला सिंगल शॉट. से यार 80 minutes तो हो गया, then it means we need to do something. And I said, चलो let's do something for 2 hours. अभी आके सबको बोला 2 hours. So everybody looked at me, 2 hours. हो सकता है, ऐसे क्यों नहीं हो सकता? हो सकता है. So ऐसे 50-60 आदमियों को ऐसे इंस्पायर कर दिया. अभी वो गाड़ी निकल पड़ी 2 hours. We told it to channel. Channel said, "Yeah, how would we telecast it? It cannot be telecast without commercials." I said, "You cannot cut it. It will be one shot." So they actually took quite a huge loss on that, but they say, "Okay, it can be done." Tarun Katyal was in charge. He is a very, very progressive guy. He is a big guy. He said, "Sir, don't worry. Go ahead, do it. Give me the budget later on." He sanctioned a huge budget. But it took me 4 years to make it. 4 years from planning to actual doing. Now, I realize that we will require a place. It cannot be shot on street. It cannot be done here. It cannot be shot in a way we used to shoot CID, like camera running on street. It cannot run for 1 hour, 2 hours. It required a controlled place. But still, it needed to be done on a huge scale. So while I used to go to film institute for lectures and all that, while coming on the way I saw this huge hotel which is called Laguna now. So I went inside and I saw the place. I realized कि ये बहुत राइट टाइम पे कुछ दिख गया है, यहाँ कुछ हो सकता है. पूरा बंद था and there was nothing inside. So I met the owner, I convinced him, so he gave it for, he said, okay, how many days you want it? I said, I want it for about 10 days. Now came the most important part, where is the story? And how the story will be written. Rajat, Viru and Christy, 3 people were writing it. I told them, this is it, we will have to do it. Long back, somewhere I had come across a story, मैंने उसको ऐसे रखा हुआ था कहीं पे कि when the time comes, this idea we can use it. So I told them this idea, that I have this idea, that someone comes to a place, a huge building, as he is sitting there, he hears a gunshot and somebody dies somewhere inside the building. But when he rushes, there is no body. That was a basic idea. So we 4 of us sat together and they asked me a question, how many scenes do we write? I had no answer because there were no scenes. There was one single scene. And to make a suspense story without cuts was unheard of. You can make a love story, you can make something, you can make a huge event. But it is CID, it has to have murder, it has to have suspense, mystery, and then proper beginning, middle and climax. So in the final version, if you see, the murderer is all along with you, but you could hold on. Eventually we made of 111 minutes. I said, just do one thing, let's divide it into 4 parts. So write 30 minutes, then we'll write 30 minutes, then we'll write. So we divided, we know it. 1 page is about, everybody knows it's about a minute. So we'll write about 30 pages. And within, I think, 7-8 days, they came up with those 30 pages. And it was flowing so well, it was compelling reading. I realized कि ये बन गया अभी एपिसोड, क्योंकि जिस दिन राइटिंग हो गया उस दिन मतलब बन गया. Then we wrote next 30 minutes, and we had a story, fully written story. I was thinking of creating something, on that scale of Cecil B.D. Mills, so that कुछ ऐसा होएगा the people will remember. I read the story, I had the location, but somehow the story was not getting inside me. I realized that I am not attached to this story. The story is there, but it's not sort of inspiring me to read it again and again for 2 hours. So if it's happening at this time, then what will happen eventually when it is made? All the time we were struggling this idea, can it hold? Because there is no cut. Everybody is in the frame all the time. Everybody is talking all the time. All other elements which the writers and directors have at their disposal, of cutaway, of the length of the shot, of zooming in, of having close-up, having mid shots, those things were taken away from us. It's all the time a mid shot. There are people in the frame. So how do we create mystery? How do you create suspense? So then I started thinking in terms of the movements in the frame. That if I have to have a close-up, then I slowly walk towards camera and then merge with others, and the camera slowly goes to mid shot or close-up or long shot. So that was the technical part. The difficult part was how to tell the story. in a continuous manner. Then I took Viru with me and we took a handycam like this and I went on the location. I said nobody should come. And then I went on location and 2-3 of us, we just stood in the location because it was barren and there was nothing inside. So I said let's feel the smell of this place and let's actually get attached to this place at least. So we moved in the corridors and I spent about 2-3 hours alone in that place. I sat there, I tried to imagine that people moving through this and all that. And as I was entering into a room, suddenly somebody was hiding somewhere in that. I said, यार तुम कौन है यार? तो बोला मैं तो वॉचमैन हूँ. बोला यार क्या कर रहा है? सो रहा है and all that. It was like real horror story. Then we took this handycam and I said, I will run and you take the shot. So we took a shot about 18-20 minutes. I was just telling some lines. कुछ एक्टिंग उल्टा सीधा मैं कर रहा था. He went on following. Then we played it back and 18-19 मिनट का एक शॉट देखा. It made sense. So we did the blocking for 7 days. 7 days we took the rehearsals. And on 8th day we tried the shot and I think very first day we got the shot. But the basic, the win of the idea was that we managed to write a story which is without our regular cuts. I mean, there are no scenes, there are no, on the script you don't find those things written. See, I am game for false drama. Red herrings are important for a thriller. I mean, we can't get away from that. But I am against false flashbacks. I somehow don't cater to it and I try people not to do that because that I think is a kind of cheating. I should call it cheating. I don't use it in my because when a writer writes a flashback, he is taking audience with him, trying to tell this is what has happened. If you are showing my flashback, then it better be true. I cannot be going in a flashback in which I am telling the lie. Like for example, I tell you, there's a great film, Kahani. In Kahani, Vidya Balan is all the time going into a flashback. And a wrong husband is being shown in flashback. If those wrong flashbacks were not shown, then the secret would have been out even during the interval only that this pregnancy may be just a ruse to get the audience. Because if we are showing a flashback in which she is pregnant and husband is also present, then it's bound to be true. But in the end, the real husband is shown in the same flashback. Flashback is shown again, and then the husband is shown, the real one. But that I would think twice doing it myself. But in that film, it was done so well, and the story is moving with such a great pace. Mystery is intact till the last moment. So, in that case, it can be called great writing. But I don't use it in my storytelling. If you are asking red herring will be successful or not, that you can make out while writing, not after shooting or something. So when you write it and when you narrate it, you will know immediately whether it's working. The search is continuously on to find a story the subject which we have not done in CID, because over 850 stories, 50 episodes have been made. Almost everything in whatever is possible in a detective genre, we have covered it. So we must come up with something which is a film subject and not a TV subject. Otherwise, nobody will come to see the film.
It has the same actors, same team.
It will, actors will be same because we have an advantage that we have a famous team. Only thing, they will be up against very big villain. So we have to see who that artist will be and who we can afford. See, this is a new territory for us, and it's very exciting thing that I am meeting new writers, and and writers who I do not know at all. So the only way we can know each other that they tell their story and I ask them their experience, and so it's like starting from zero. I met 2-3 people. I need to make a team of about 8 writers like we have it here. Tall order, because everyone I have come across in Calcutta, they are again saying same thing, that there aren't many writers who can write this kind of thing for you. But I am very confident that I can inspire at least 7-8 people to write this Quran for us. And again, I am going with open mind. Again, as I said, no idea is bad, no writing is bad. Only thing that we have to sort of channelize their thoughts and their energy into one particular course, like the way we write. I am sort of holding mini workshops. Now I am going to have major workshop in which whole day we will discuss. Again, same thing, what I have learned so far, that how to start, what the scene 1 should be, scene 2 should be, and how the story will flow, how a new story will look different from earlier story, because you must realize that in every story we have same elements. We have a dead body, we have 7 detectives, we have nothing else. But we have found that in 15 years people are not fed up with that format. We are still doing well, because long back I realized that mystery and suspense will never die. I also added certain elements in CID type thriller. That is how to write for locations. That's a new element which we added. On the way, when we realized that we need to shoot on locations, when you are shooting on street or on a new location, in which location is also as important as your story, then you need to convert your scenes according to the location. The whole language of that scene changes. The movement of camera movements, movement of the artist, they start contributing towards your content in that scene. So that we have trained here, to our writers are somewhat trained in a way while writing that scene. So what I will do, I will take these writers around with me to new locations which are new to me also, and there we will stand there and discuss how a scene can be shot at this particular place. And this we have learned, like when we first outdoor we did was Jodhpur and Jaisalmer. Once we went there and we saw the location, we were fascinated by locations and all that. But we also realized on the way that our CID episode should not become a sort of travelogue. It should not become that cops are trying to show the locations. And if you had seen CID, you will realize that if you want to show location, you need to show cops just walking on the location. You cannot show it by having them in a car or something, but then it will just fly past. So sometimes you wonder why they are walking all the time for an hour, because this is the requirement of the location. Second major problem in making a crime thriller in a particular city is that we are actually obliged to that city when we shoot CID there. Like if Jaisalmer and Jodhpur we shot. I mean, people there just helped us and like anything. So it's not in our interest to show the city or the people in bad light. But since we are making a murder mystery, we have to have a murderer, we have to have a villain. Plus we need to show the city, we need to show the lanes, by lanes, buildings, people. So then this is what I am trying to tell, that this is what we have evolved to write according to the location. Now we go on the locations, writers, myself, we see the location for 2-3 days. 4th day we write the story. 5th day our team arrives there and we start shooting. We did it in Calcutta just now. We did it in Jodhpur. We did it in Kerala. When I saw that lake, I decided we must have a chase here or boat chase. So I hired 3-4 boats. We found a reason in the story reason for the chase and all that. So that's what our writers are doing. We have shot in Switzerland, Paris, and we have written according to the location. I would say that, I mean, it's not correct to lecture or just anybody to say that do this, do that. But I think new writers are, today I would say new writers are lucky that there are hundreds of opportunities. But they need to, upgrade themselves most of the time. They need to be evolved. They need to learn new techniques. And basically they need to learn how to narrate a story. That's very important, because most of the writers who are coming to us, they start narrating the screenplay straight away instead of narrating the story. So when we ask them, tell us the story, they again say कि रात का टाइम है, बिजली कड़क रही है, but that's not the story. But they have worked out the screenplay straight away. So I think somewhere on the way we need to train them in reverse. First comes the story, and then comes the screenplay. I mean, it's an old thing. I'm just repeating it.
So now you're a successful actor. How does it feel to be an actor?
I don't know. Sri Ram had confidence in me, and he said, I need this face. I have a choice of actors, but I need this face. So I said, sure. He said, I'm very much sure. And he gave me free hand, and he gave me such a big role. So I'm obliged to him and obliged to his confidence in me. And I'm acting in CID because it's a comfortable environment. It's an art production, so there is no objection from any corner so far.